Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 266, GOYOZUG, recorded on August 31st, 2023. From Zenatta Consulting, I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
I had not seen the show title prior to the just now. That is a callback to last week's Azaz. Ask Zenatta anything about Zoho episode. It's I'm not even going to bother translating it. Just, you want to go back and see what goes. I do know that Landon has purchased GOYOZUG.com. A business plan is being prepared, and we will,
not a good one, but a plan nonetheless.
It's a plan. So we will see. I'll probably get a cease and desist from Zoho or Zug. You know what I mean? We use the word Zug in a URL. There you go. Oh, man. All righty. August 31st. There are only 4 months left in this year. It is whizzing on by. I will tell you that this morning, California was officially declared drought-free statewide. How's that for exciting? Huh?
Yeah. Next 2 weeks until it goes back to being in drought.
You think it's been 110 this last week here, even in all over Southern California. It's been in the 100 hottest it can be. But I guess that last hurricane that came up through here, besides the crazy winter we had where it rained all winter, basically that did it. So now we'll dry out, we'll burn. It'll be the cycle of life will continue. So anyway, with that, Tyler, let's get right on into the show and let's look at announcements and events. Alrighty. As always, if you go over to Club Zenatta, that is where we keep track of all of our events. That is our online community, the online community. Go check it out. Everything having to do with Zoho, but we also keep track of our events and Zoho's events. For us, as you know, we do this show every week, every Friday at 10 a.m. You can find it on YouTube. And then every Wednesday at 10 a.m., you can find Azaz, which is where we answer all of your questions that you have, maybe after the show, questions you leave inside Club Zenatta, questions you ask after watching our YouTube videos. And this month, Tyler, I guess we're doing the Sales IQ full product overview, which is going to be exciting. It has been a long time. Was it 2020, the last one we did? Something like that?
Yeah. All the way back in 2020 was the last full webinar. We've done a couple of odds and ends videos since then, but that was the last full walkthrough.
A lot has changed on Sales IQ. As a matter of fact, I'm looping you into a call later on today with someone who has they were going through some major Sales IQ stuff with me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to plug Tyler in on this one. So I'm probably just going to, talk about the old stuff. I can cover most of Sales IQ, but when it gets to the bots,
those at least have gotten easier. I remember back the first time, not to derail us here in the announcement section, but back in the day, the first time I tackled writing a Zobot, and I think I remember talking to you about it, there's the 4 layers of code you used to have to write. So sure is easier nowadays. Sure is easier. Still tricky, though.
And we also keep track of all Zoho's events. So they've got, September starting to fill up. There was one last week, I think. So you got on September 6th, they're boosting lead generation with landing page campaigns. Ask the experts, collaborate with Zoho Show. And Creator Tech Connect Series 2023 on September 14th. Delusion Cloud functions in Zoho Creator. So very good. Again, head over to club.zenatta.com. You can not only find all of the events, you can also participate in our online community. We've got keep track of all the Zoho news we're going to talk about on this show is actually over here in real time. We just kind of put it all in. So everything you see on here, we actually put in during the week as it arrives. You can ask us all the questions you want around Azaz, and we're going to see what those questions are, drop those in. You also can just go into our general discussion and, participate, ask questions. People will help you out. Anyway, head over to club.zenatta.com. All we want is your email. And with that, we got a really busy news week, so let's get right on into it. So this has been, I think this has been requested for since I've known Zoho. So if you are in Zoho CRM and you're sending out a bulk email, you have never had the ability to customize from inside the CRM the unsubscribe page. And they have finally changed that. So It's important. It's good. So,
and this is specifically for your CRM email unsubscribes.
Yep.
And previously you just couldn't customize this page at all. It was basically just a very standardized you have unsubscribed page. So now you can brand it, put their name in, put their email in, things like that, just to make it a little bit more dynamic.
We also can let them know, because when they unsubscribe from the CRM side of things, that's it. That's basically a full-blown email opt-out at that point in time inside the CRM. Whereas in Zoho campaigns, you can say, I'm just subscribing I don't want to get the weekly newsletter, but I still want to get monthly announcements, right? You can do that. But this is so pretty good. Not really much more we could say about that, but if it's a feature you've been waiting for, there it is. And moving right along. So WhatsApp, Zoho's gone all in on WhatsApp integration inside the CRM. We talked about last week. They had some interesting stuff that they were doing, and now you can now create personalized templates and use them as automated WhatsApp messages. So when replying to someone inside of WhatsApp, you can have, just like as you would really with an email template, you can now have a WhatsApp template that is automatically going to reply. They can even be used in workflows and blueprints, and it's nice. Very, very nice. So instead of sending via WhatsApp SMS, you can now do it, there you go.
It's all native too. So it's nice. You're not even having to really go through like a third-party plugin. It's baked into so many different elements, a lot of these different pre-baked actions. So starter blueprints, workflows. You can basically send it the same way that you're sending like an email, right? Just with the send email action.
Yeah. And they're supporting this. I mean, I was noticing it was in the CRM and I was on the back end. There's a whole new under settings. What are they calling this? They're calling this business community. It's under, they have a special name for this now. WhatsApp's
messaging. Business messaging. I think it's called.
I think that's what it is.
Settings, yeah.
And right now it's just WhatsApp, right? But it's kind of nice. I mean, there's a plan there to add others in, but I think that probably, we were talking before, man, WhatsApp, everybody I know, because, I off-road down in Mexico all the time and got a bunch of friends down there. We're all on WhatsApp because that's what they use. That's their main SMS. That's their main telephone. I mean, they really use it to call each other and everything. So if you would take the WhatsApp telephony and get integrated into CRM, that could be a real game changer as well. So I like what they've done with messaging. So good on you, CRM team. And wrapping up with CRM, I think the biggest news of the week, maybe the biggest news of, I don't know, definitely a month and the summer, this is a big one for me, is Zoho CRM mail merge has now, which if you don't know, that's where you're basically creating a Word document in Zoho Writer. We do this all the time for proposal generation where you automate it. And there's so much you can do with this. You can take this beyond just the standard mail merge using Deluge. You can create a button and basically create the document, send the document, move deals along, progress stages, that kind of stuff. But the creation of these documents has been super powerful, but there were a few things that were missing, and they've got the three of them here. You can now merge. It is now available for inventory modules. Now that's inventory inside the CRM. So, but you can now import PDF files into a merge, massive, and you could add and you could add image fields to merge templates. And this is, quite frankly, this has always been the big one, right? I mean, the process to do this in the past was one of taking it, writing, having a script that took it, put it into Work Drive, created a URL, then we grabbed a URL, and then there was all this. Now, basically, in CRM, you can have image fields, and you can actually just upload things to those image fields. It's going to read those image fields. We don't know. You were checking. I don't know if you checked to see if it's going to work, using Deluge or not. But
Deluge, I'm not sure yet. I mean, what it would likely be is, I guess as well, we shouldn't skip over like the fact that you can now run these merges on the inventory templates, like quotes, sales orders, invoices. That's also a big update. That's super highly requested. Like, we don't use that as often. A lot of our customers are more using the deal when we're doing this. But that's a pretty big update in and of itself. I know in like the partner community, that was lots of cheering and, happy tears and things like that for that coming to market. Importing PDF, not as big, but definitely a time saver, I will tell you. I have ran plenty of PDF templates through converter tools to try to make really cruddy docx's to import. So just being able to push that in as a PDF is way better. And yeah, the images are super slick. And honestly, what it would probably be with the images is that in one of their more recent API updates, Zoho added the ability to run a merge via Deluge just using a template ID and a record ID. So it would probably work in that case because you're just invoking the same thing as the button. I just don't know how it would work if you wanted to pass it in custom. But at the end of the day, the more common use case is merging from a record anyways. So if we have to use that flow, that's going to work out just fine.
Super nice. I mean, it really is. Because there are a lot of just times when people want to send out custom proposals or whatever. They've got maybe, on the PDF side, right? They've got a little blueprint or a little drawing or a little schematic, and they always want to include in their proposal. It's been impossible, or not impossible, but
even
like you say, highly customized to make that work. So
even customer logo, that's a huge one, right? Just like on the front page, have the customer's logo come in. I think the devil in the details here will be making sure that you get nicely sized images. We'll have to see kind of how it works with the dynamic sizing. Like if you had one customer logo that was 512 by 512 and another that was 150 by 150, are those going to come in the same size? How's that going to work? But
let's say here with Zoho Writer's formatting abilities, you can manage the size and span of the image added.
Got it.
So that's going to be interesting. I was thinking exactly the same thing with like a PDF. Like, so if I've got a 8.5 by 11 PDF, is it going to shrink it to, 10.5 by 8, right? And make it fit on the page? Is it going to go full page with it and blow out all the formatting around the other pages? It's going to be curious because they're not really telling me about that formatting. This will be fun to play with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. All right. And moving on with the news, small announcement here, but if you are using activities inside Zoho Bigin, which is their lightweight pipeline style CRM, you can now in the calendar view see your activities. So most calendars do that. You can show your tasks. It's kind of a standard thing. You can see your appointments and your tasks, and you can now show them in there, and away you go. So no tasks, kind of a standard thing. There it is.
Why not?
Bigin users rejoice. And moving on, this one seemed minor to me, but you said you think it's pretty cool. You can now identify your teams through logos in Zoho Desk. So basically you can have a team and associate a specific logo with them.
And in Desk, we really like using teams. And the example they have here are 3 good ones. So like a sales, a support, and a privacy and security team. It's nice to organize your users into teams so that when somebody might be out of office or unavailable, those tickets can still be easily identified and seen by other members of that team. And as Desk users know, when you're looking at a list of tickets, over on the right-hand side, you can see the little icon for who is assigned. And if it's a person, it shows their face or whatever their profile image is. If it was a team, it would just show kind of like a gray nebulous icon that was not easily identifiable. So now you're able to basically just set what those logos could be. So it's nothing earth-shattering, right? But it is nice if you open up the My Open Tickets and there are 10 in there and you can easily see 9 of these are associated to sales. I'm going to jump in and help them out today. So again, it's just a little visual indicator, but adding these little touches for clarity in a tool like this is always really welcomed by the users.
Makes it easy. I don't know if you saw this morning. I'm sure we'll talk about it next week because I haven't seen an article on it. But did you see the organization view inside Click that dropped this morning?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
So I only saw it. I don't know when it dropped, but I got logged out for some reason this morning of everything. And when I log back in, you can now go and inside Click and just, it's got the folders, but it quickly identifies your organization. So all your external users are in one folder and you can kind of go through those, and really nice, especially as Click grows. There's some interesting stuff there. Hopefully there'll be an article. If not, maybe we'll add that to things we notice next week because it's nice enhancement to click. All right, and moving on with the news. Dun, dun, dun. So, if you use Zoho Mail, this is kind of an enterprise level feature that's now been added. You can now delegate your mailbox. So for those of you who don't know, usually you see this in large corporations where you have an executive and they'll have an admin, and the admin basically is frontline for all of their email. So really email just goes through them. It's delegated, so they both have access, but you know who's actually working in your inbox, if it's you or whoever. So you can now full email delegation going on. So it's pretty cool. Kind of like I say, it takes it to enterprise level.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. Is this even something that's supported in Google? Can you do inbox delegation in Gmail?
You can do it in Google. There's probably third-party apps that have handled that. I'm watching this video, by the way. I'm still trying to understand what this video is all about. It has a bee going around, and it's like, it's very friendly. I don't understand. This is
everything's kind of cutting
watching this
around,
on YouTube. The bee's crying. Talking to some other bees.
And now it's delegating itself to others.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, I lost the plot here again. I thought I had the plot, but I think I've lost it.
I turned the audio off, so I just figured, we could just do it. But anyway, it's very nice. So if you're using Zoho Mail, you do have delegation now, which is super nice. Super, super nice. And you can figure out what folders your delegation is going to be in and on and on. So I must say that is an enterprise level feature, and good job, Zoho Mail team. Well, moving on. Zoho Voice is now available in the EU. We have kind of a lot of little quick hit stories here this week, don't we, Tyler?
Yeah. Lots of odds and ends, it seems like.
We're like little announcements. So
yeah, more PSAs.
Tyler and I just did an entire tutorial on everything you need to know about Zoho Voice, or Zoho Telephony, or Telephony inside Zoho.
Voice
check it
Voice
out.
will be coming soon. It's on my list here to do another one of those kind of fly through webinars on this app. We had a lot of requests for it after the phone bridge walkthrough. A lot of people were like, yeah, this is great. We'd love to see voice specifically. So that'll be next.
The weird thing about Zoho Voice is, man, I'm curious when you dive in, how has the pricing gotten competitive at all? Right.
Yeah.
It now has full integration with Desk, CRM, Bigin, Meeting, Service Desk plus Cloud, and Click. What the heck is Service Desk plus Cloud? Is that a new thing that I don't know about? Manage Engine. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Yep. It's got its own dialer.
Voice is, I wish they would just simplify the pricing a little bit. They're still kind of doing this odd, like, you're paying for the minutes and you get a bundle of users, and it just feels like they should get in line with how everyone else is doing it, which is just per user, unlimited minutes. A lot of the times for us, when we end up in a role at Zenatta, we're helping people pick software tools, and a lot of times we're guiding them towards Zoho. But simple pricing makes a really big difference, right? Like when you start walking through, okay, Ring Central, you need the standard plan. It's going to be $25 per user per month, and that's it, right? Or Zoho Desk, and it's going to be $49 per admin, and then 10 agents will be included. But then also you get 1,000 minutes coming in and 250 going out. So let's pull a report of last month and how many phone calls. It's just, it gets into this.
Nobody wants that.
So confusing. People end up just saying, screw it, just give me Ring Central. I know exactly what I'm going to pay no matter what happens, and I'll just budget for that.
Yes.
So yeah, Zoho, if you're listening, it would be so much easier to sell this. Just match Ring Central's price minus $1, and you're good. You're good. You will get so much business. So yeah, it'd just be nice to see them simplify that a little bit. And that's just my opinion, right? They might see, hey, maybe if you're not making a lot of calls every month, you save a lot of money on Zoho Voice, right? So maybe there's this break even, but a lot of people just want this to be simple, right? They don't want to be paying for minutes every month. So something to consider. Because the cool thing, I guess I should say as well with voice before we jump off the topic, is the power dialer is very cheap, and it actually works pretty decently. So
nice.
Yeah, well worth considering, and now available for those across the pond over in the EU.
Yeah, and they support Ulink. So for those of you that want a handset on your desk, I mean, this is coming a long way. This is like all Zoho apps when they first launched. I mean, the craziest thing is when Zoho Voice first launched, it didn't even integrate with CRM. It was the craziest thing ever.
It didn't have phone bridge.
It didn't have phone bridge.
Couldn't port a number. I think you can port numbers now, right? But when it launched, you couldn't port a number, so you'd have to have a new phone number to use it.
So time to take. I'm glad you're going to do that. We need another deep dive on this. So, all right, moving on. 4 exciting new features have been added to Zoho Calendar. If you don't know, Zoho Calendar is a standalone app. It's also part of Zoho Mail, and it's integrated with Zoho Mail app. It is basically just like any calendar you would want. And they actually are making some massive improvements with these 4 updates. The first one, and this will kind of tell you why oftentimes when people ask us about Zoho Mail and Zoho Calendar, we say, not quite yet, kind of wait. Up until now, if a person who couldn't even propose a new time. So now, someone you can propose a new time, which every single calendar has ever had, right?
Yeah, you have to be able to do that, right?
Like
it's
you have to be able to say, "Hey, I'm glad you booked it here. I'd like to propose this new time." So that's included. So you can tell we're getting close here. A real Zoom integration, no Zapier, no anything, just real Zoom integration. I tried it. I integrated it. It works great. They still do have a problem, though, that if you're trying to do a recurring meeting, it will not allow you. As a matter of fact, it won't even allow you Zoho meeting.
No meeting links on recurring meetings.
None whatsoever.
And it's Zoho, if you're listening, the reason that they don't support those is because hypothetically, a recurring meeting can be infinite. Right. And that's how I do a lot of mine. I don't set an end date. Right. We have twice a week a consultant touch base. Technically, as far as Google Calendar knows, I'm doing that till 2099. Right. Basically, that's far backdated as they can. And what Zoho Calendar is trying to do is create a new Zoom link or a new Zoho meeting link for every recurrence of that meeting. So if you're listening, you don't need to do that. What Google does, they use the same one for all of those meetings. They just create one Zoom link and just apply it to all of those. And then you're good. So maybe consider...
Zoom doesn't care. Zoom doesn't expire that link. I mean, Zoom's just generated infinite links. It's... I think meetings different, right? I think meetings expire. They're looking at it that way.
It's a need to solve. I mean, you can't... It doesn't work, right? If you can't have a recurring meeting with a link, right? I mean, that seems unfinished to me without that feature, unfortunately.
Although, and now you also, though, you've got full integration with Outlook. You actually can sync both calendars and Outlook. So you didn't actually have this synchronization before. While you're talking about that, Tyler, talk about this a little bit, because I'm going to go check something in the background here. I just did something this morning. This synchronization, by the way, has also been turned on for Google, right? So you've got the full synchronization of Google. So the interesting part about this is it handles it differently. I was going to say, when you're doing this synchronization, it actually makes the meeting location the Zoom link. So if you're using Google Calendar and you've done it here, it is putting the link in on a recurring meeting. Make sense?
You just have to schedule all your recurring meetings in a third-party calendar.
Well, you do it over your other calendar, then they come over here. Or I guess you would grab the link. Yeah, it's kind of, anyway. But the sync is super, super nice. This is full synchronization. This is not like just connecting. It actually synced. There were a lot of things. It wasn't syncing recurring meetings. The old integration would never give me any recurring meetings on my Zoho calendar. Now everything appears. Super well done. So they're making a ton of progress here as well. And this is a big one because, the Office 365 integration has been something kind of lacking, when it comes to calendar there. So that's a big one. And this last one is really kind of interesting. So it's basically adding buffering to your meetings, I think, right? It's shortening your meetings by 5 or 10 minutes. So if you got a 30-minute meeting, it's making it.
That's your defaults, right? So like this is where in Google, when you click and drag, it grabs them in, 15, 30, whatever minute increment. Here, you're basically saying grab them in smaller increments. So 15, 25, 50, 80.
Yeah, well, if you set it as a rapid meeting, right? Yeah. So if it's a regular meeting, they're showing on the screen.
Well, I think it's all your settings. This is like account wide. You're choosing all my meetings should be booked in 25-minute increments, basically.
No. I think you think that's it?
That's what it looks like on the video here. That's like the back end settings, right? For your meetings. So yeah, it's essentially it's just flipping your meeting.
So you can shorten them by 5 or 10 minutes, and just you're not doing the 30 minutes or the hour meetings anymore. So you're just changing the defaults.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, I think then when you're doing an event, it could be a regular meeting, or you can click rapid meeting and it's going to change that time.
Got it.
It's a set box you can do. I think. I don't know. Hang on. Let me find out. Oh, the back end here. All right. Nope, I don't see a rapid meeting checkbox. So
this must be system-wide.
Must be a system-wide thing. Yep. All righty. All right, and moving right along with the news, Zoho Sheets now has keyboard shortcuts that will not interfere with your browser shortcuts because they use different keystrokes to do them.
It's more of a put this in the bug fix category, that a lot of their shortcuts were the same as other shortcuts in your browser. So they have fixed that. Makes sense, right? When you do a keyboard shortcut, you want to be careful around, duplicating that between commonly used shortcuts in the browser. So good job, Zoho, as a need to have. Obviously, when shortcuts start conflicting, quality of life goes down significantly. So an important one to sort out.
It does. All right, and that is going to wrap up this week in Zoho News. And with that, Tyler, let's get to the implementation of the week.
Alrighty, so this is one that we built out here for one of our longstanding clients. Bruno helped me out on this implementation. So this is essentially an account level email opt-out for CRM. And there's a lot of different cases where you might want something like this. But in this case, essentially, you're working with a client that does primarily account-based prospecting, right? So they provide a certain professional service. They will go out and find accounts that are a good fit based on the industry, the size, the type of work that they do. Find the right people at that company, and then do some outreach to see if we can get in the room and, talk about how the client may be able to add value. Now, this outreach flow is a blend of both manual and automated communications. And through that process, they may determine that a certain account is not a good fit. Now, that could either be someone at the account says, hey, you know what, we've already got someone fulfilling that for us. We're all good. Don't need the services. Or we get on the phone with them and they might want to hire our client, but our client determines, you know what, after talking, we actually wouldn't be the best fit for you. And so what they wanted is essentially a way to check a box on the account and prevent any ongoing email marketing and communications to go to that account. These guys are operating at a pretty decent scale, sending mass emails, things like that. So we want to be careful to make sure that we're only targeting people who are a fit, right? And who are not bouncing or not uninterested and things like that. So pretty simple implementation from a technical perspective. We added a field to the account for, account level email opt-out. When that is checked, it'll go ahead and run a script that will opt out any contacts and leads underneath that account. In our case, for this particular workflow, they do use leads that have an account lookup that convert eventually based on, engagement with that particular lead at an account. So the script will actually go through and check the default email opt-out field for any of those records. Basically just meaning that if someone at this account has told us, no, we're not interested in this, we want to stop chasing that account, right? Because if we keep chasing them, we're going to get spams, bounces, issues, right? And we don't want any of that. So once we've gotten a no, we want to turn it all off. We don't want to hit them up through campaigns. We don't want to hit them up through our CRM workflows anywhere. So we're actually checking that default email opt-out in the system that will hard stop future automated communications or manual communication attempts to any of those leads or contacts. So it's just kind of a catch-all, right? That if we know we're not going to continue chasing a particular account, let's turn it all off for every single person that's under that account, just to make sure sender reputation stays good, domain management, it's kind of just a best practice.
Easy peasy, but cool. Almost seems like it should be a feature.
Probably, right? Like definitely could just be a feature. Some of our implementations, right, from a technical perspective are insane. This one's simpler, on the simpler end of the spectrum, but just has a very practical and applied use case.
Yeah. Very, very, very nice. All right. With that, guys, well, let's head on over back to Club Zenatta and look at our code share of the week. Again, kind of just extremely practical one. This is from Alex. Basically, if you are using Zoho Books and Zoho Inventory, maybe you would like to add comments to custom modules. Well, you need a little script for that. So basically, what is it? If you're writing it in books, it's going to go ahead and put it over in inventory and vice versa. Is that what we're doing here?
Yep. They're basically the same thing on the back end from a database perspective. So Alex is just pointing out here in this quick little code share, that comments are not a parameter on a record. They are a child of that record and have a specific API call that you have to use to add them. This is very similar to adding like a note in CRM as well. You can expect to use a very similar structure. This kind of just a plug and play one. Obviously you're going to need to fill in what your note should be. He just has some boilerplate text in there. But nonetheless, super helpful code share. I'm sure someone will be stuck and they will find this and they will no longer be stuck. So it's kind of our goal with these shares.
And if you haven't been over to the code share, you can go take a look at it. We are constantly posting things. At least once a week, we're posting some nifty little code shares for you to look at and go through. And boy, this database is building up, isn't it? Crazy.
It's got a lot of code in there at this point.
You can see when we switched to the new platform, the image things changed a little bit. But anyway, there's a lot here, so we're taking a look at, kind of search around. By the way, the search bar works great in here. So if you're looking for something, just do a search and you most likely will be able to find that. All right. Well, Tyler, we don't do this every week, but we're bringing it back. Here's the read of the week. We haven't had, what else we haven't had in a while, Tyler, is an app of the week. Pick of the week, when we're going to do a cool app. It seems like we probably should, there's got to be one that's occurred in the last 6 months that we haven't, since we used to have one every single week. We don't have many more. Anyway, this is from the Harvard Business Review, and it's why customers leave platforms and how to retain them. So if you have some sort of a SaaS-based platform or any type of platform that people are using, the term is disintermediation, and that is people leaving your platform to go to another platform. Basically, sometimes even just cutting out the middleman altogether, depending on what your platform does. That's really what disintermediation is. And this is a big example of, hey, someone's on Upwork. Upwork's getting a piece of that pie, but, they try to go direct and they go around that, right? On the other hand, you've got Borders Books, another example they're using, and people just go buy the books online. Right, because they're not finding the value of Borders Books anymore. So very interesting article here. And really it talks about the main reason that people leave is they just are getting a better deal, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the deal. So
there's kind of a learning lesson in here. A lot of this is specific to the platform itself, right? Kind of the platform business model, but one of the takeaway lines in here is that, and you could apply this to a service as well. Basically anything other than a product, right? The product, you sell it, you get the money, they have it, you're done, right? Unless it's malfunctioning or something. But what they basically say is, deliver more value than you take. People probably stick around. If you deliver less value than you take, they probably won't, right? And that's for service businesses, that's platforms, that's everybody. And, I think it depends too, like you were mentioning before the show, with something like credit card processing, it's if you beat Stripe by 0.1, boom, we'll leave. No problem. As long as you integrate with Zoho Books. And so I think different platforms and different service providers have different levels of stickiness. We have no relationship with Stripe. They're not doing anything custom. They're just running the cards. And so it's just a numbers game. Where there are other service providers or things where we might be a little bit harder to get us off of them, right? Just because they do a good job. We like it. It's delivering a lot of value. But so even though this article is kind of specific to platforms, I think it would apply for a lot of service businesses too, especially when you get into this kind of carrot versus stick when it comes to retention. It's a pretty big one. It's kind of like for us, we try not to use the carrot or the stick of long-term service agreements for our clients. A lot of like IT service providers, you sign with them, it's implementation up front and then a 2-year contracted service plan, and that's a stick. Right? You're retaining that client by force, right? Because you have forced them into that type of arrangement. So try to stay on the side of carrots, generally it's going to be a longer term success.
Absolutely. We don't talk about it very much, but no, I don't, but actually we've never talked about it. We were talking about it before the show is what I meant to say. Harvard Business Review, man, we both were talking about how we used to read it all the time. And then I was talking about how expensive it is. And then we went, it's not expensive anymore. So there must have been some disintermediation going on there. And they had to improve their value benefits, right, on this one. Because it has really gotten down to a reasonable price. Pretty crazy. So anyway, excellent. And with that, let's see what's new over on Zenatta. Hey, we're pimping out one of our new products here, Tyler. This is our projects team training. So if you don't know, this year we have launched a series of team training. So what does team training mean? You pay one price, and you train everybody in your organization. You have 5 people, it's the same price as if you have 100 people, right? And so that's it. You buy our team training package. You've got it for life. You can do it. CRM launched earlier in the year. Projects launched about, 45 days ago. What do we got? Desk is coming out. A marketing one's coming out. Yeah. We got a whole bunch of things coming out here. This kind of talks about the power of Zoho projects and why you want to train your team on it and the importance of comprehensive training for your team. Again, it's self-promotional, but you know what? It's a great product. And everybody I know who's purchased this has been raving about it, both on the CRM and the project side. So you really do need to train your team. And the best way to do it is with our team training. So
I think it's one of those things, right? Why buy the software? The team doesn't know how to use it, right? And projects is one that, for a normal user, it's nothing crazy, but it sure is nice to just know that they're going to be using things as intended. Because when you start using projects how it doesn't intend you to use it, you may experience some problems. Things start to fall apart at the seams if you're not using it in its kind of best practice mode.
Yeah. We have a new client. We have a new client we brought on recently that we've never even talked about this, but it was 2 sales calls. So the first sales call was, I want to do this, and this, and what can I do? What can I do? And I'm like, well, you should take this course, right? Take this. So they did the team training course, and they went through the full admin 7-day program, which is really 8 hours, right? But we say 7 days to go through it. And I said, that's going to give you a better idea of what it can do, what you want to do, and the whole thing. They then came back with a real laundry list of what they wanted, right? Because the more you know, that's it. Seems like a Sunday morning cartoon. The more you know. What was that? That wasn't...
It used to be the PSAs, right? Old TBS, like PSAs.
Like
No. More you know.
The more you know. It's true in all aspects of life, Tyler. And with that, let's head over to our tip of the week. Josh is back at it with his suite of series of creator tutorials. They are extremely popular, and man, are we getting the love on these things. And this one is standard subforms in Zoho Creator. They differ significantly from CRM, Tyler?
They do. Structurally, the way they work is very different. Essentially, a subform in Creator creates its whole own module. So it's kind of like a related list in CRM where it is its own database, but it gives you the UI of a subform. So yeah, they do actually work a little differently and kind of better than they do in CRM. Having it as its own module has a lot of advantages. So yeah, great video here. We use these religiously. This is a huge part of our workflow. In our meeting log, there is a subform of tasks that we're creating and assigning during our meetings. So we religiously use a subform in our day-to-day life. So yeah, while we're taking a look, make sure to leave a comment on the video letting us know yay or nay on Josh's mustache. We're doing a bit of, a public survey request here on should he keep it, should he shave it? So yeah, let us know. I am strongly in the keep camp. That would be my preference. Oh, absolutely. I love it. But yeah, let us know in the comment section, yay or nay on the mustache.
I think we probably should just do a before picture, a current picture, create an actual Zoho survey, send it out to everybody who subscribed, like 4,000 or 5,000 people, and
they'd love that. Yeah. That's the useful info that people subscribe for, Brett. It's not for the Zoho news. It's to get their voice heard on the topics that really matter, like Josh's
mustache, yay or nay. In all seriousness, though, it's funny that, it creates it almost like a related list, like its own, but in the CRM, even though it's not presented that way, I believe on the back end, it's handled that way, right? Because if you go to do a report, it treats subforms as if they were a custom module.
Yeah,
right.
They all have an ID. They have like their own row kind of record ID in there.
They don't display that way, but yeah, it's very, very interesting. So, all righty. And as always, if you head over to youtube.com/Zenatta, well, you will see all of our videos. We produce more content on Zoho than, well, just about anybody, probably more than anybody. It's daily content almost at this point in time. So head on over. You can find all of our product overviews, all the CRM Zen shows, all the Ask Zenatta Anything about Zoho, all our implementations of the week, and just more and more and more. There is so much, and it is, we'd love for you to check it out. And of course, please like and subscribe if you find it useful. All righty, Tyler. With that, I guess we're bringing to a close yet another CRM Zen. But before we do, a little announcement about how powerful our videos could be. We got a comment on YouTube from RLNL Vlogs. They watched our Zoho Forms full product overview because they were applying for a job where they're going to be creating Zoho Forms, and basically had one monitor up and watching us, and they learned Zoho Forms. I'm telling you, we are doing good for the world here, Tyler.
You're contributing to GDPs across the globe with what we're doing here.
We are. But this, truly, that's how everybody learns, right? You gotta start somewhere. But and the fact of the matter is, Zoho Forms is simple enough. And I think after you went through our tutorial, boom.
You should have it pretty much down. Yeah. That's the goal
nail
of those videos.
Be a pro. All righty, everybody. I want to thank you so much for listening to our show or watching our show, however you're consuming this episode. And if you'd like to talk to either Tyler or myself, please head over to Zenatta.com and click on Book a Meeting.
On the website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered to your inbox every Monday morning, please be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And last but not least, as always, we'd appreciate if you would like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
GOYOZUG!